Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to kick off our presentation today. We're here to explore reports and dashboards. This is the first slide, which is our cover slide. I'll briefly introduce what we'll be covering. We'll look at how reports and dashboards can help us make better data-driven decisions, streamline our workflows, and visualize information effectively. So let's get started and dive into the world of reports and dashboards. So, at its most basic level, a report is simply a list of records, like opportunities or accounts, that meet the criteria you set. But here's the interesting part. Reports are much more than just lists. They can be customized in ways that give you deeper insights. For example, you can filter records to focus on specific data, group them to see patterns, or even perform calculations to analyze trends. And if you're more visually inclined, you can display this information graphically using charts. This makes it easier to interpret the data at a glance. So, when we talk about reports, think of them as powerful tools that help you turn raw data into meaningful insights, supporting your overall goal of better decision-making. Let's take a closer look at the different types of reports we can generate. First up, we have tabular reports. These are straightforward, simple tables that display data in rows and columns, making it easy to view details at a glance. They're great for detailed listings. Next, we have summary reports. These build on tabular reports, but add the ability to group data and perform aggregate functions like sums and averages. This helps in quickly understanding trends and overall metrics. Then there are matrix reports. These are similar to pivot tables, allowing us to compare data across multiple dimensions simultaneously. They're especially useful for analyzing complex data sets where relationships between data points matter. We also have joined reports. Think of these as combining multiple reports into one. They allow us to bring together related data from different objects or sources, providing a more comprehensive view. Finally, all these are different types of reports designed to serve various analytical needs. Understanding when and how to use each type is key to making the most of your data analysis. This overview will help us choose the right report type for the insights we want to uncover. A report type is essentially like a template that helps us organize and build our reports. Choosing the right report type is really important because it determines which records and fields are available for us to include. When we select a report type, we're essentially telling Salesforce what data we want to work with and how it should be structured. Each report type has a primary object, which is the main focus of the report, and it can also include related objects, which are connected data points. For example, Salesforce provides standard report types based on single objects like accounts, leads, or products. But it also offers more complex options that combine related objects, such as opportunities with projects or campaigns with contacts. However, sometimes the standard report types don't include all the objects or fields we need for our specific analysis. That's where custom report types come into play. They give us the flexibility to create a report type tailored precisely to our needs. For instance, Maria can create a custom report type called Leads with Activities. This report type uses leads as the primary object and activities as a related object. Then, all Erin has to do is select this custom report type to see only her leads that have activities associated with them. In summary, understanding and choosing the right report type, whether standard or custom, is key to building effective, targeted reports that give us the insights we need. Let's take a closer look at the different types of filters you can use in your reports. First, we have the standard filter. Most objects come with these already built in. While they vary depending on the object, the most common ones are Show Me and Created Date. Show Me filters help you group data around common categories, like My Accounts or All Accounts, making it easier to focus on what matters most. Created Date filters allow you to specify a date field, such as the date an account was created or last active, and then narrow down the data to a specific time range, like last month or all time. Next, we have field filters. These are versatile and can be applied across reports, list views, workflow rules, and more. For each filter, you set the field, choose an operator like equals, contains, or greater than, and then specify the value you're interested in. To add a field filter, you can either search for the field in the Filters tab or simply drag it from the fields list. This makes filtering very flexible and tailored to your specific needs. Moving on to filter logic. This allows you to add Boolean conditions, like and, or to control how multiple filters are evaluated together. Keep in mind, you need to add at least one field filter before applying filter logic. It's important to note that filter logic applies only to field filters, not standard filters, giving you more control over complex filtering scenarios. Then there's cross-filter. This feature enables you to filter a report based on related child objects. For example, if you're looking at accounts but only want those with opportunities, you can add a cross-filter with conditions like with opportunities. You can further drill down by adding subfilters, for instance, filtering opportunities by a specific name like Acme, so you're only including relevant data. Finally, let's discuss row limit. This option is particularly useful for ungrouped, tabular reports. You can set a maximum number of rows to display, choose which field to sort by, and specify the sort order. Limiting rows helps in scenarios like dashboards, where you might want to display only the top records without overwhelming the viewer. By understanding and effectively using these filter options, you can tailor your reports to deliver precise, meaningful insights that support your overall data analysis goals. Now that you've built a filter, let's take it a step further with cross-filters. These filter types are powerful because they allow you to extend your reports to objects that are related to the original objects you've already defined in your report type. Essentially, they give you the ability to analyze related data without having to write any code or complex formulas. Cross-filters are especially useful for fine-tuning your results, helping you pinpoint specific scenarios or exceptions with ease. For example, you can quickly identify accounts that have opportunities that are stale, or contacts that are orphaned, meaning they aren't associated with any accounts. One of the most common use cases for cross-filters is exception reporting. These are reports where you want to highlight or isolate data that meets certain specific conditions, like missing data, inactive opportunities, or contacts without accounts. Let me show you some typical examples. First, accounts with opportunities, so you can see which accounts have open opportunities. Then, stale opportunities that haven't had activity in a while, which might need attention. And finally, orphan contacts, those contacts that aren't linked to any account, which could be important to clean up. Using cross-filters makes your reports much more dynamic and insightful, helping you focus on exactly what matters most, all without complex setups. It's a simple yet powerful way to enhance your data analysis and decision-making process. A dashboard is a visual display that shows key metrics and trends for records within your organization. Think of it as a snapshot that helps you quickly understand important data. Each widget on a dashboard is based on a single report, which provides the data for that specific part of the display. You can choose to use the same report across multiple widgets or different reports for each widget, depending on what you want to visualize. By adding multiple widgets to a single dashboard page, you can create a powerful and cohesive visual story around a common theme, like sales performance or customer support. It makes it easier to analyze different aspects of the same topic at a glance. Like reports, dashboards are stored in folders. If you have access to a folder, you can view all the dashboards inside it. But to see the individual widgets on a dashboard, you also need access to the reports that feed those widgets. It's important to note that each dashboard has a running user, whose security settings determine what data is visible. This means the displayed data is filtered based on that user's permissions. Now, there's also the concept of dynamic dashboards. These are special because the running user is always the logged-in user. So, each person sees data tailored to their own access level, making these dashboards very flexible and personalized. If data security is a concern, dynamic dashboards can be a smart choice. So, in summary, dashboards are a powerful way to visualize key data, and understanding how they work helps us make better decisions based on up-to-date information. Now, let's take a closer look at some of the key components that make up effective dashboards. First, we have charts. Charts are essential because they allow us to visualize data trends and patterns quickly, making complex information much easier to understand at a glance. Next, we have tables. Tables are great for displaying detailed data in a structured way, especially when we need to compare multiple metrics side by side or provide precise figures. Moving on to metrics, these are the core numbers that give us immediate insight into performance. They help us track progress against our goals and identify areas that need attention. Visual KPIs, or key performance indicators, are a powerful way to highlight the most critical metrics. They catch our eye and instantly tell us how we're doing in key areas, making them perfect for quick decision-making. Finally, dashboard components encompass all these elements: charts, tables, metrics, and KPIs that come together to form a comprehensive view of our data. When designed thoughtfully, these components enable us to monitor performance effectively, identify trends, and make informed decisions swiftly. Connecting all of this to our overall theme, these components are the building blocks of a good dashboard. They help us turn raw data into actionable insights, which is ultimately the goal of our analytics efforts. When we talk about better decision-making, what we're really aiming for is the ability to make choices that are more informed and strategic. By leveraging real-time insights, we can access the latest data as it happens, which means our decisions are based on current information rather than outdated figures. This immediacy helps us respond quickly to changing conditions and seize opportunities as they arise. Alongside that, improved data visibility ensures that everyone involved has access to the same information, fostering transparency and alignment across teams. When combined, these benefits lead to more confident, accurate decisions that drive better outcomes for the organization. Ultimately, this is about empowering us all to make smarter choices that support our overall goals and growth. Now, let's move on to tracking our monthly sales performance. It's essential to keep a close eye on how we're doing each month to spot patterns and identify areas for improvement. By regularly monitoring this, we can make informed decisions to boost our results. Next, we'll look at our top-performing representatives. Recognizing who is excelling helps us understand what strategies are working and how we can replicate success across the team. Celebrating these wins also motivates everyone to perform at their best. Then, we compare our closed deals against our targets. This comparison reveals how well we're meeting our goals and where we might need to adjust our efforts. It's a vital part of managing performance and setting realistic, yet challenging, objectives. Finally, I want to share a real-world example involving a sales team. This example illustrates how tracking performance, recognizing top reps, and analyzing deal closures against targets come together in practice. It highlights the tangible impact of these strategies on overall sales success and reinforces how these concepts fit into our broader sales approach. Let's take a closer look at how we monitor our cases, both open and closed, to ensure we're staying on top of our workload and customer issues. Tracking these helps us identify bottlenecks and gauge our team's responsiveness. Next, we focus on the average resolution time. This metric is crucial because it reflects our efficiency and our ability to resolve issues promptly. The shorter the resolution time, the better our service levels are perceived by customers. We also observe customer satisfaction trends over time. These trends give us valuable insights into how our support efforts are resonating with clients and where we might need to improve. Consistently high satisfaction scores indicate we're meeting or exceeding expectations. Now, to bring all this to life, let's look at a real-world example involving our support team. By analyzing their case handling, resolution times, and customer feedback, we can learn practical lessons on how to enhance our overall support strategy. Altogether, these metrics and examples help us align our support operations with the broader goal of delivering exceptional customer experiences. Now, let's move on to our final analysis slide. Here, we're focusing on campaign performance analysis. This involves examining how our campaigns are performing in terms of lead conversion rates. Understanding these rates helps us see how effectively we're turning prospects into actual customers. Next, we have ROI tracking. This is crucial because it allows us to measure the return on our investment for each campaign. Knowing what's working and what's not helps us allocate resources more wisely and optimize our marketing efforts. To bring this all together, I'll share a real-world example from marketing. Seeing these concepts in action really highlights their importance. Ultimately, by analyzing performance and tracking ROI, we can continually improve our strategies and achieve better results. Let's take a closer look at the executive overview of KPIs. Here, we're focusing on key metrics that really define our business performance. Starting with revenue trends, we can see how our revenue has evolved over time, identifying patterns and seasonality that help us plan better. Next, pipeline health is crucial. It gives us a real-time snapshot of potential deals in progress and their likelihood of closing. This insight is vital for adjusting our strategies proactively. Moving on to forecasting insights, these help us predict future performance based on current data, enabling smarter decision-making. Finally, I want to highlight a real-world example, a management dashboard. This dashboard consolidates all these KPIs into an accessible, visual format, empowering leadership with instant insights. Connecting all these points back to our overall theme, it's clear that having a comprehensive, data-driven approach is essential for steering the company towards sustained growth and success. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. I really appreciate the opportunity to share these insights with you. Remember, the key takeaways are about understanding the core concepts we've discussed and how they can be applied in your own work. I encourage you to think about how these ideas connect to the bigger picture and the goals you're working toward. If you have any questions or want to explore these topics further, please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, thank you for being such an engaged audience. I look forward to seeing how you implement these concepts moving forward.